I was able to come off those medications in less than 3 months. When I was 45 years old, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My father has type 2 diabetes, and potentially my grandfather also had it. We just don't know because he died before he was diagnosed. But when I found out that I had diabetes, I was told that I had to take oral medications 3 times a day. That was really stressful to me because whenever I take pills, I tend to choke on them. And the thought of having to take medication 3 times a day brought about a lot of stress to me. So after a couple of years of having type 2 diabetes, I was introduced to the documentary Forks Over Knives. And at that point, I adopted a plant-based diet or lifestyle, and I was able to come off those medications in less than 3 months. But I want to talk today about how type 2 diabetes is misunderstood. Chances are nobody really sat down with you and told you all the details about your disease. The one thing that they told me when I found out I had type 2 diabetes is that I needed to be careful with carbs. What you really need to be concerned about, though, is fat. And that is not something that I was told when I was diagnosed. In fact, I don't think any of my doctors or nutritionists had any idea how diabetes really comes about and what we need to be avoiding in order to beat this disease or get in front of it. I watched a fabulous 5-minute video by Jane Esselstyn, and I'm going to post the link below. It was a video that in layman's terms explained what's really happening in our body when we're a type 2 diabetic. As a type 2 diabetic, we have insulin. We produce insulin. And insulin is the molecule that transports glucose from our bloodstream into our cells. The problem is not that we don't have insulin. We do. The problem is that the insulin cannot do its job because our cells are full of fat. That fat is called intramyocellular lipids, which means inside the muscle cells, there is fat. So, how do we get the fat out of the cells so that the insulin can place the glucose into them to provide us with energy? It's actually pretty simple. There are 2 things that we need to do. One, we need to lose weight because we have too much fat in our body, and that fat is being stored in those cells, thus making it difficult for insulin to do its job. That's called insulin resistance. The second thing is we need to eat a very low-fat diet. The easiest way to eat a low-fat diet is to cut out animal-based foods, so all meat, all dairy, all eggs, as well as removing oil from your diet as much as you possibly can. When we eat this way, with a much, much lower fat diet, the fat that is in our cells is going to slowly be released out of the cells as we're losing weight. And even when we're not losing weight, if you take away those fatty foods from your diet, you are going to slowly have that fat burned out of the cells. It's slower though, so it's better to lose weight at the same time that you're incorporating that new way of eating. So to lose the weight, eating a plant-based diet is going to be the easiest, quickest way to do that. And the more whole foods that you eat, the better. Because you can eat a processed vegan diet, and that is not going to help you with your diabetes. There was a time in my journey when I started eating a lot of processed plant-based foods, and my A1C shot up to 9.8. So just being a vegan is not enough. You need to stick with whole plant foods as much as possible with the least amount of processed foods as you can. You can control your diabetes by having consistent exercise included in your day, as well as eating whole plant foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, with limited nuts, seeds, and avocado. You do need to have some fat, but you want to make sure that these are whole fats as much as you possibly can. That said, I am a type 2 diabetic, but I am controlling my disease with regular exercise and eating whole plant foods. So check out my website at www.mrsplantontexas.com for recipes, education lessons, all kinds of tips and tricks to live this lifestyle. Remember, you don't have to take medicine. You can treat your type 2 diabetes with a whole foods, plant-based lifestyle and regular exercise. That exercise can be simply a short walk every day, or you can go as much as running or cycling or swimming. Whatever you are comfortable with, any kind of exercise is good for a type 2 diabetic. And in the process, the more whole foods you eat, you're going to drop your weight, and you're going to see that insulin resistance is going to reduce a little bit at a time. I hope this helped. If you have any questions about being a type 2 diabetic and you need my assistance or you want my opinion about something, I would love for you to put comments below, or you can email me at mrsplantontexas@gmail.com.